Hey guys, this is Nick with EDC Mag, and today I want to talk about Chavez knives. Before we get into that, I want to talk about something with you guys that I see a lot of questions on, and that's about cleaning, protecting, and rust or corrosion. Now, a lot of guys will come up and bring stuff up in discussions about corrosion, rust, spots, different things on their knives, and they want to know the best way to get rid of it. Well, everyone has their own solution. What I've used for a very long time and find that works extremely well is Flitz. Flitz has been around forever. I think it was originally made to use on guns. But man, this stuff just works miracles. Not only does it clean, so if you've got rust spots, it'll take rust spots out. I've gotten knives from guys that said, oh yeah, this is new, this is like new, and you come in and the blade just looks awful. It's got scuffs or stains or Lord knows what. And if you take this stuff to it, I've taken this stuff to blades that I thought, man, I just got screwed. And man, it just cleaned the metal out. I mean, it gets down in the metal. You might have to work it a little bit. I usually use Flitz and a cloth, and you just apply some, rub it on, let it set for a minute, kind of like waxing your car, and work it out. And man, this stuff works miracles. Not only does this work on steel, I've used this on G10, I've used it on superconductor, on Mokutai, on Damas steel, you name it, man, this stuff does it. Now I know Jim Skelton has some stuff out, and it is not a cleaner. He has said so himself. It's something that you would use after you've cleaned all the stuff off your knife and you would want to protect it. Then you would use his product. But this stuff does everything. It does the protecting, it does the cleaning, it does the protecting. So once you put this on, it's like a wax coating, sort of. It does help prevent against fingerprints. It does make stuff easier to wipe down. It's just a miracle. I mean, it's a miracle worker. Sometimes just the stuff I've seen this been able to accomplish with this, it really makes a difference. You'll think, ah, man, I'll clean this knife. It doesn't really need it, but I'll wipe it down, and the crap that comes off your knife, and you didn't realize it even looked that bad until you're finished. So the other great thing about Flitz is you can get it online anywhere, but you can go to just about any hardware store and get this stuff too, because it's just been around forever. Just a great product. I use it on just about everything on my knives. And so if you guys are looking for something to not only maybe clean your knife, protect your knife, clean some rust spots off of it, doesn't matter the steel, and also, you know, protect it, keep that from happening again. Give it a layer of protection, especially in humid climates and areas. Man, I recommend this stuff. It's just a great all-around knife friend. So it's just good to have around. So there you go, Flitz. Check it out. So let's talk about Chavez. Ramon Chavez is an American maker. He's out of New Mexico, and I think he started out messing with knives and fell in love with knives when he was a kid, and he started making knives for friends, and just, you know, his knife design. He has a few designs. They're all very similar. But some different grinds on them. The one thing well, I mean, when you see a Chavez, you immediately know it's a Chavez just by how it looks overall, even though they do look similar in design, the different models. The big thing that makes them stand out is going to be this clip. It's a very unique clip. I got fuzz, cat fuzz everywhere. That's very uniquely Chavez. Most people think it's cool as hell. Some people think it's, well, there's always going to be somebody in a group, right, that doesn't like something. What this is this is a production model of the Chavez. His knives can go anywhere between $1,000 or just under to $2,000 or just under for a custom from him. But what he did is he went and reached out to Riot and had a series made. Now there's 4 or 5 different models of this. They come with a few different grinds, blade shapes. They come different colors, finishes. This is a green canvas micarta. This one is the Rendition Tanto. See if you can read that. And this basically is just a production model made by Riot for Chavez. It's an Ultramar series. Normally I wouldn't do production, but this knife kind of came out of left field. I know it's popular. There's probably 1,000 reviews on it on YouTube, but I thought, well, I've never tried one, so I'll give it a shot. I knew coming in that it wasn't going to be something that I'd keep, but I thought I'd give it a shot. I mean, you know, what can you say about this thing? It's S35VN. It's 3.375 inches, which I know for a lot of guys that's like ideal. That's a great carry size. I mean, there's nothing bad about this knife. It's you know, it's made by Riot, so it's gonna be a perfect knife. I mean, Riot is a Chinese maker that just makes superior quality knives. They have their own lines that are just phenomenal in the fit and the finish. The action is second to none. I mean, I don't know, everybody has their opinions, but I'd say Riot's probably up there number 1 as far as Chinese manufacturers go with knives, and then probably maybe like a Wee, and then Kaiser, and you know, there's a bunch of others in there, but I'd say the top 2 are probably Wee and Riot. I have another Riot knife that I got early on, and at the time that I picked it up, I thought it was a mid-tech, but it's not really. It was made by Todd Begg, Field Marshal. It's a 4-inch blade, so you can definitely see the size difference there. I love this thing, but again, it's still a production knife made by Riot for Todd Begg. Much like this is a production knife. So these run like $300 from Blade HQ, Knife Center. Pretty much anybody that sells knives has access to these things now. Anybody that deals with Riot, I think. So it's a great knife. I love the grinds. The grinds are phenomenal. The fit, the finish, the bronze hardware. One thing I noticed is it does feel a little thick. Not sure why it's so wide. I mean, for me that's good because a smaller knife like this can get lost in your hand real easy, and to be able to have a little thickness to it. Let's put it up against our token blade Kershaw Link, which, by the way, if you ever want to de-assist a Link, I would say don't do it. I de-assisted this one, and it's just kind of eh. But anyway, if I ever take it apart again, I'll probably put the spring back. So we've got a 3.35 inch blade, 3.75 inch blade, and 3.2 inch, 2.5 inch blade. So very similar in size. It gives you an idea of the size of these. Now, for me personally, this thing's way too small. It's just not my thing, but that's just me. But it was cool. It is cool to have one in hand to play with it a little bit. It gives me an idea if I ever decided down the road, hey, I want to drop $1,000 or $2 maybe on a Chavez, or somebody says, hey, I got a deal on one. well, gives me an idea of what I'm getting. Because these things, they look almost identical. Obviously, there are subtle differences, but that's clearly a Chavez design. And if you don't want to drop $1,000, but you love his designs, you know, this is the way to go, because it's a frickin' Riot. So, you know, that just means it's going to be a good knife. I mean, you're not going to have issues with it. You're not going to have flaws. It's going to function. The action is going to be phenomenal. I mean, it's just a given. So, and actually for a Riot, $300 is a pretty damn good price. A lot of Riot knives are $500, $600, $700, $800, depending on how they're finished. And again, this one has a lot of different finishes. One of the things I do really like about this, though, is, and I didn't realize this until I got it, it's not a flipper. And I love that, because I love the thumb stud. Now, you know, the thing that frustrates me about these knives, not these knives, but just small knives, is you pick this up and you want to open it, and it doesn't matter if you're going to flip it or you're going to thumb it. Before you do anything, you got to readjust that thing, get it in your hand, get it braced against the palm of your hand, get it all ready and situated, and then open it. And I just don't like little knives that, I don't know, they just get lost in your hand. That's just me. That's just a personal thing with me. And, you know, most guys are going to say you're full of shit and that's a perfect EDC size, and it probably is for most people, and that's fine. So if you've been looking at these, they're kind of everywhere now. They're kind of the it thing. They're really popular. Man, this is a beautiful knife. There's no reason not to go out and get one. Or if you've always looked at his knives and wanted to try one, I would definitely say go for it, because this thing is just flawless in every execution. You know, I don't have a single bitch about it, really. I love the thumb stud. A lot of guys, you know, they're used to flippers, but this is just a more natural action on a knife than a flipper. It's hard to, you know, I'm probably going to get into this, but I want to do it on a bigger knife. But when you pick up a knife, your thumb's here. In order to deploy a flipper requires additional action. You've got to go look for that trigger. Whereas on a thumb stud, that's just a natural position of your hand. So you're there and you're ready. And to me, it just feels a lot more natural. But again, that's me, that's personal preference. So let's see, I think we went over all the specs. They said this thing's 4.7 ounces. So again, it's a production knife. I mean, you can go out and look up all the specs on this, and he has some Tantos. There's like 4 or 5 different versions of this. So you can get, you know, I think drop point. You can get them in black. You can get them, you know, and they're all $300. So I think I saw one that said it was 3.5 inches. I'm not sure what the difference is in that one, other than the size. But you know, most of these are all $300, $299. So let's see. They said 4.7. What the hell? Is my scale off that much? I'll have to do some research on that. So my scale says it's 5.5, so that's a whole ounce off of what. Of course, that was one resource. So considering where it came from, I'm going to trust my scale, actually. So I'm going to say this is 5.5 ounces, as opposed to where I saw that online, but I haven't looked in more than one place to see what they say they weigh. But that makes a little more sense to me, because this thing is thick. It really is. So, and it does have some heft to it. See, that Kershaw is about what they say this weighs, and this is definitely heavier. So I'm going to say this thing's 5.5 ounces. I'm going to go with that. Wherever I got that info from, I think they're full of shit, or they were guessing, or their scale's off. I'm going to say this thing's 5.5 ounces, and I believe that because it's got a little bit of heft to it. It's just thick. I mean, if you look, I don't know how well we can do this, but if you look at the difference in the thickness, that's a whole scale higher than this Kershaw. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the fact. I'm gonna. You can do your own research, but I'm gonna say this thing weighs 5.5 ounces, and it actually does feel like it does. So there you go, guys. Beautiful knife. If you're into Chavez, and he seems like a cool guy. I don't know a whole lot about him. Looks like he's been doing it his whole life, and you know, God bless him for it. I love the grinds. This thing is about as close to a real one as you can get, and it functions just flawlessly. It is a Riot, and that's what they do. So there you go, guys. If you've ever been curious, have already watched like 9 million reviews of this thing. This one for me is it's gonna come and go. It's not gonna stick around. I mean, if this was a 4-inch blade, I'd be into this thing because I love the grinds on it. But you know, if and can and would and should. Chavez Ultramar. Check them out. Hey guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're just getting started. We're having a lot of fun. This is Nick with EDC Mag. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.